Hey, it's the right Rican, and got to ask the question: Is what's going on in Canada with Justin Trudeau? Is this a dry run on bringing China's social credit score here to the West? You know, because start with Canada, it could come here too. I'm going to show how these things are already really here. But before I go into that, let me show you audio of Trudeau's speech the other day.
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for sleep and secure society.
Okay. It's a joke, obviously, for people who any Star Wars fans there will know that's just Emperor Palpatine taking over the Galactic Senate. But yeah, this is what's going on. I mean, Trudeau is, you had Black Lives Matter riots and shouldn't say protests in Canada that weren't nowhere near as violent as they were in the US, but he went and he took a knee with them. He spoke to them. He hasn't even done that with this protest. So what that goes to show you is what the governments accept as what they find as acceptable, or what they could use to gain more power. That's what's going on there. But all jokes aside, I wanted to show what the deputy prime minister, what she had to say about what they were doing in Canada now.
Following immediate actions. First, we are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use. These changes cover all forms of transactions, including digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies. The illegal blockades have highlighted the fact that crowdfunding platforms and some of the payment service providers they use are not fully captured under the Proceeds of Crime and Terrorist Financing Act. Our banks and financial institutions are already obligated to report to the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Centre of Canada, or FINTRAC. As of today, all crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use must register with FINTRAC, and they must report large and suspicious transactions to FINTRAC.
So this is all response to the trucker protests, obviously. But like I said, where is this going? And has this been going on in America? Well, I'm going to start with the older article here. Bank of America takes aim at gun-making clients. And this is from 2018. Okay. So Bank of America on Saturday became the latest financial heavyweight to take aim at gun makers, saying it would ask clients who make assault rifles how they can help end mass shootings. Okay. Bank of America, the second biggest U.S. bank by assets, said its request to makers of the military-style weapons was in line with those taken by other financial industry companies to help prevent deadly gun rampages. So yes, I just chose Bank of America because I remember reading something about that. And here's another one. This article is 3 years old. So it goes here. Activist groups warn providing finance for coal-fired power stations is inconsistent with banks' commitment to Paris Agreement. So here's pushing banks to in the name of climate change, not to do business with coal-fired stations. So why am I bringing this all up? Why do I bring up the Chinese? And you're going to see this one. Like, this one is, yes, it's not an American article, but this one was. And here's another one. Here's a recent one that one of My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell's banks has cut ties with him a month after citing him as a reputation risk. So look, you don't have to like the guy's ideas. You don't have to agree with them. But to say that the bank can do business with someone because you don't like their ideas, how is that living in a free country? This stuff, it doesn't matter what side you're on. You should, let's say you're a lefty. Well, what if the government changes and, you get a, all right wing, right House and Senate and presidency? You're going to be okay with with Republicans pushing this stuff? Of course not. So, I mean, this is what's going on. And why do I link it to the Chinese credit system? Here's a diagram. And it goes here: ratings will determine eligibility for loans, jobs, etc. So depending on what kind of the credit system the government gives you, because that's what it is with China, you got access to social services, loans, internet service, eligibility for government jobs, access to planes, transportation, travel abroad, school admissions, access to hotels, insurance premiums. So if you're undesirable, guess what? Just like what did Trudeau say? These truckers hold or is it unacceptable thought, something like that, or unacceptable ideas. But that's what's going on. How is that any different than what's going on in China? Here's just so you can understand what I'm talking about here. This is from last year. The social credit system, known as the ranking system, is a means to assign a rating value to individuals based on their compliance with social and political expectations. It rates whether or not people are good or bad citizens. It then rewards or punishes individuals based on their behavior. It's currently used in communist China. The government exercises control of its citizenry via surveillance cameras, facial recognition software, complaints from people, official documents, and records from medical, business, and government entities, and then assigns a social credit score to individuals and companies. Those who comply with the imposed social credit system are rewarded materially and socially. Those who don't are penalized. So what's going on? That's exactly what, we're not calling it, but that's what's going on. Like I said, you got Mike Lindell here, unacceptable thoughts. You have what's going on in Canada, unacceptable thoughts. And what they're doing, they're freezing assets, they're freezing bank accounts in Canada. Like I said, they did it with Mike Lindell. They canceled his bank. They closed his accounts, told him you have to take your money elsewhere. But this is where this is leading. It's a foot in the door. It's getting the foot in the door. And let's not forget, we're talking about a prime minister who praised China. Okay. And if you haven't seen that, hold on. Let me find that video for you guys. Give me a second. Let me stop the sharing. So here we go. I didn't want to take the time to have to wait for you guys to see which have found the right video. So here's a short clip of Trudeau praising China.
Admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime.
Okay, so there you go with that. So he's praising dictatorship because they could turn their economy around on a dime. Same way, with he's pushing this emergency act to change to end this protest. It's a peaceful protest. They're calling it a occupation. They're calling it a blockade, and you're getting a lot of funny disinformation and misinformation from the news talking about that they're full of racists. Meanwhile, when you see live streams of the protest, you see people of all different walks of life. I remember seeing one in particular. I remember seeing a Sikh. For those who don't know, they're usually Indian. But they were he was talking about something. I forgot what it was. But you're talking about different walks of life of people there in Canada who are part of this trucker protest, and it's worked. It's worked. It scared the shit out of these people. That's why That's why Trudeau's doing this. But in the end, it's going to backfire. I think it's going to backfire. I think um, he's showing by doing this, he's wakening up. Because in Canada there is no real conservatives compared to America, but he's opening up the eyes of the moderates over there, the center left Canadians, to what's going on, and I'm sure they're not going to like this, and his party is going to suffer come the next election if they don't have a short memory. But this, and it's inspiring truckers out here because, from what I understand, there's going to be one that's starting soon it's going to go from California to um, Washington D.C. It's going to start with, I think, like about 1,000 truckers, and they're going to cross country. They're going to stop at places um, along the way to meet up with other truckers that are going to cross country to go to DC. And if that happens, oh my God, I could imagine the chaos that's going to ensue over there um, in DC. Um, I have half a mind to maybe go and cover it for a day just to see. Just because I have a friend who lives out there, so I could take like the train and drive to her, and then take the train into DC and see the chaos. I would love to see that. Love to video it. But when you see these things and you see the incrementalism that's going on, I don't understand why people. Well, I do understand. I know that people just see one side of the news and that's it. And that's the problem when you only get one side of the news. And we need to get this information out to your moderate friends. Look, there's going to be you have friends that are far left that are not going to listen to this stuff. They're not going to care. You got to reach the people who are either apathetic, that really just they don't care about politics. Show them some of this stuff. Show them what's going on. Don't give up on those people, those center to center left people in our country. Do not give up on them. Show them the information. The people with an open mind, show it to them, because that's what's going to cause the change. And it's already starting, because you're going to see, like, I had told my wife, and I said, what's going to happen is, at the State of the Union, Biden is going to declare the pandemic over, and he's going to, the science didn't change, the polls have changed. They see they're going to get shellacked in November, and they're hoping by ending the pandemic, what'll be 8 months before the election, that they'll be able to salvage some numbers. And we'll see. I don't think so, but you never know. I mean, people in this country they have a short attention span. and we don't. Um, we do things against our own interests. It's that's the way it works. Um, but you got to show people this whole Chinese credit system and what they want to implement that here. When you see what's going on with Mike Lindell, when you see what's going on with the gun companies, when you see what's going on with fossil fuel companies, you see that these activists are pushing them with through financial means by threatening their financial means with the banks and all this stuff. It's pushing this credit system coming in to come here to this country, and we need um, if we want to continue living in a free country, we don't want that system here. So I'm going to leave it there. I am the Right Rican. I hope you like my video. You could follow me here. If you follow me on YouTube, please follow also on Rumble. Vice versa. If you follow me on Rumble, please follow here on YouTube and interact with me on social media. Once I already said I have them all. Once Truth Social comes gets out of beta, I will sign up. But that being said, have a good one.